Hello, Peter Baker here from VoiceOverMasterclass.com. We're often creating videos like this and training courses for beginners to our industry, but this is aimed at you if you've been in the voiceover business for a while and you'd like a few hints and tips. Now, some of these you may know already, and I'm sure you have your own personal hints that I don't know, but I'm quite happy to share these with you that I know have made my life easier and more efficient in many ways, recording and editing voiceover scripts for a profession. If you haven't got time to watch the whole video now, click the link under the video and download the free PDF. We won't even ask for an email from you. We're so good to you. First of all, have 2 audio software programs on your computer. Why is this? Well, it's basically so you've got one to record on and one to play back on. You see, if you do a script which has quite a few unusual names in there, your client may well send you an extensive audio file with recordings of how to pronounce the names. So how are you going to play them if you're already recording in your software program? So what I do is to have the very latest updated version of Adobe Audition on my computer to record and edit on, and a really old copy of Adobe Audition. Actually, it's 1.5 from a CD-ROM. And in my computer's default programs, I make sure when I click on an MP3 or a WAV file as sent from a client, it always opens in the old program. This is because most of the time when you open any audio file, it's because it's sent from the client, either as a reference file or as a pronunciation guide. Now, for a long tourist guide with many non-English names, it's a right flipping pain to stop recording and to open up the pronunciation file again. And to see a waveform on your screen is simply easier to navigate than if you've opened up the guide file in VLC, Traffic Cone Media Player, or whatever. So with 2 audio software programs, you're completely separate, you keep recording, and you just flip between the 2 programs using Alt plus Tab. Tip 2. When you're shopping for clothes for work, don't just look for clothes that look smart, but sound smart. You don't want to have any clothes that make nasty rustling noises behind the mic. If you do this, you'll be aware of pesky rustling noises when you're recording your scripts, and you'll tense up and not give your best performance. Now, soft cloth that doesn't rustle is the best choice for a voiceover artist. Better still, as nobody can see you, strip off and do it top naked. Tip 3. If you've got a very softly spoken script to read and you're aware that your breathing is rather noisy, try using an easy breathe metal strip to widen your nasal passages. Now, these sprung metal devices, they stick on your nose and are designed to help you breathe better in bed through the nose, so you don't open your mouth and snore. But for us voiceovers, they are lifesavers in front of the microphone, especially if you have a very soft, intimate script where you're directed live and you can't stop and edit out breaths afterwards. Of course, you can also wear them in bed, and this makes it less certain you'll sleep with your mouth open, never mind snoring. This will give you a sore throat for the morning, so it could help. Try them. Tip 4. As well as recording on the computer via your USB interface, also record completely separately on a solid-state recorder, a backup, with the input level slightly less than that of the input to the computer. Now, 99% of the time you will use what you've recorded on the computer and edit it and have nothing to do with the solid-state machine. But that odd peak of volume that distorts on your computer may be perfectly okay if you use the recording on the solid-state machine. Now, in my voice booth, I've got it set up this way. It's amazing how often you do need to use the backup recording, especially when you're doing shouty stuff for games and things like that. "It's over there, soldier!" and all that. Did that distort? I think that might be all right. So basically, you've got a Y lead, okay? So the microphone goes into a Y lead, one output goes into the computer via the USB interface, and the other wire goes directly into the solid-state recorder. Tip 5, don't send the invoice in with the recording. There may be some changes needed. Maybe you recorded something wrong, the client may change their mind over the script, but more likely you're going to slightly annoy the client asking for money before even they've got paid from their own end client. So unless you have been specifically asked to send in the invoice because to help their books or whatever, it's the end of the month, just wait patiently until you get the full all clear from the feedback on your recording and then send it in. You will be much more respected from your agency or production company and more likely to be thought of positively for future jobs. So don't be money grubbing or appear desperate for cash. Just have a decent system of remembering when you've done jobs and invoicing them when they are complete. And about a week's gone by, yeah? You can remember your jobs using an Excel sheet or a simple sheet of paper on a clipboard. Tip 6. When recording an audition where they've insisted that you read all the audition script, don't be suspicious and think they're going to steal the whole recording, so you just do half of it and that's it. Look, it could be that they want to show the end client the video with the entire voiceover in before they make a decision. It's highly unlikely a professional client will steal the demo from you. So look, read it all. And not only will this help you to get the job, but it'll stop the situation where when you do get the job, if you had only recorded and supplied half the script, you'll have to match the exact voice style, the exact emotion, the exact resonance that you recorded in the first part that they loved to the new part you'll now have to record. Tip 7. Always wire up your studio and have a system so you always keep the original unprocessed audio file. Even if most of your clients don't mind the hardware noise gate you use or the compression you put on, you will come across studios who demand the original raw file from you. You won't be able to provide this if your microphone is plugged into the effects box first, will you? So if your recording location has low-level hum or rumble from traffic noise or something, and you're using a hardware noise gate to remove at source, do this in software after recording if you really have to. Always keep the original unprocessed audio file. Maybe it's another use for a YXLR lead. Tip 8. Get physical in the voice booth. Your performance will be far better if you learn to express the words you're saying with your arm and hand movements, Underline in the air the words that are meant to be emphasized, or punch the air for power, hit words. Use actual ironic speech marks if appropriate, and make all the facial expressions you want to convey the emotion of the script, whether it's acting or narration. Your performance will be enhanced enormously by physically acting out what you're saying by your upper body. Tip 9. Always make a great first impression. If you're recording and editing voiceover scripts in the order they come in, and you're in the middle of an urgent job to do for an existing client, what do if suddenly an inquiry comes in from a potential completely new client? Well, yes, you would. Just take 2 minutes out to reply to that new client, and they will be impressed by your speed of response, and you'll probably get the job. Now, I know there's a school of thought that says you should always leave people waiting a bit, because this gives the impression that you're important. You're really in demand. You've got lots of scripts to do. You might get round to it if you have time, and all this stuff. And if you reply too fast, you are acting a little bit desperate. But in my experience, it's the new client who's desperate, and if you don't reply straight away, they will simply find someone else. Tip 10. Finally, learn to respect your voice. Get into the habit of drinking a glass of water every hour during the day. Eat healthily, exercise daily. Try not to cough to clear your voice. And when you have to shout, either for a voice acting job or if you're in an argument in real life, be aware of the damage this could be doing. So learn the illusionary acting technique for shouting that sounds loud but isn't actually and won't harm the vocal cords as much. So learn that, won't you? And I hope you found those tips useful. If you'd like to know more, please visit us at voiceovermasterclass.com. Training courses on enhancing your voice, getting into the voiceover business, voice acting, podcasts, and much, much more. Check it out. And if you'd like to download the free PDF with those top 10 tips, please click the link under this video. We won't ask for your email. Thanks for watching.